Hi, Greg Surratt here, and I wanted to introduce you to an opportunity that I think will be helpful to you if you're a local church pastor or a worship leader. I want to introduce you to a couple of my friends, Nate Davis and Tara Banks. I recently had a conversation with them, and this is a piece of it, but this piece specifically impacts you and will be something I think you'll be interested in. Nate and Tara are both long-term worship leaders. In fact, Tara led the department here at Seacoast for a number of years, and they have created a company that will come alongside of churches, large churches, small churches, worship leaders, pastors, and help them in the area of worship. They call it the worship department. In fact, in the conversation, as a part of it, I have them describe exactly what it is and the value that it is to pastors. And then at the end of the conversation, there's a special offer that I think you'll be interested in. So, without anything further, let me introduce you to my friends, Nate and Tara. Hey, let's get into what you're doing right now because I'm very excited about your new endeavor called the Worship Department, or DEPT. I think
That's
that's the
right.
.com
The
on it.
abbreviation.
That's
Tell
Yep.
us
right.
about. Well, I tell you, before you tell us about it, I think I've got it right here. There it is.
Woo.
There is
There we
the
are.
there is the website for it. I think everybody you can see this. Is that right? Ooh, and look at there. It's live. In worship department, and there's Nate, there's Tara, and you go down, and oh, there's Brandon Lake. I've heard of him. Grammy award-winning Christian artist. How many has he won? He's
Big
won what,
time.
five? And
Oh, I can't keep up.
and
Well,
Tara
losing
used
count.
to
So
be his.
many.
I was gonna say Tara used to be his boss. She was right
Back.
for a number of
Very
years. Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
yeah.
For a lot of
And
years.
he says some really nice things about you guys. And then John Larson, we go down there. I've heard of him. He's Church of the Highlands, and he says some very nice things. And so, tell us about what you guys do.
Yeah, I mean, the worship department kind of was born out of Nate was doing some consulting with worship leaders on his end. I was doing some consulting on with worship leaders on my end. And we kind of looked at each other one day and just said, what are we doing? Why are we not doing this together? It would make so much more sense because pretty typically, if I was introduced to a church that had a male worship leader, I was sending them to one of our male worship pastors to meet with. And likewise, if any of the guys on our team were in contact with female worship leaders, they were sending them to me. That said, Nate and I just decided, hey, we should just join forces like the Avengers and do this together. And so the worship department was born about 2.5 years ago. And we've had the opportunity to work with churches all around America of all different sizes. The one we mentioned earlier that has multiple campuses, and it's a relatively large church, down to churches that are 200 people with just to start up a brand new church, brand new campus. So we like to say that we're a worship solutions company. We are not the kind of company that comes alongside and says, here's 5 things that you can do that will make you better by the weekend. And then, we hope you implement those things and that's it. Instead, we love to get in the weeds with you. We love to get into all the details of your organization, your services, and we really run the gamut of the depth that we can work with a church based on whatever their specific needs are. And I'll throw it to Nate and let him explain some more. But I think the thing that we see God doing with the churches that we're able to work with is He's really activating um, the best parts of each of us. And so together we really are kind of like a super team. I am the, organization, spreadsheets, logistics, whatever. And Nate is the creative, big ideas, dreams. And together, God has allowed us to use the best of those things for such a time as this, in this season of our worship leading lives. I mean, between us, we're 50 years leading worship. And so it's just, he's allowing us to use all of these experiences that we've had, not just for us, but now to share them.
Nate, let's talk to you in just a second, but sticking with Tara, you were describing you are a unicorn that every church wishes they had. And
I don't know about that.
No, seriously, an amazing singer. Okay, just gifted singer, worship leader, presence of God, and an organizational, Yoda. That's a unicorn. That package doesn't come, and
I might trademark that organizational Yoda. I like
I love it. I love it
that.
as a
Might be
worship leader.
that might be my new title.
There you go. All right, Nate. Tell us about the company, what you guys do from your perspective.
Tara, definitely put that on your bio. Organizational Yoda. I would say, just kind of summation of some of those things we really are trying to work with churches and lead pastors to say, hey, let us help your worship leader become also a great organizational leader as well. For the most part, at some point in the life of a growing church, they're hiring a worship person really based on a skill that they need, that the lead pastor is going to need. We need somebody on the weekend to stand there and deliver, right? We need them to sing well. We need them to play well, and help, find some other people to do it with you. Well, as the church grows, like you said, typically the person that then they need as the church grows, which is a great organizational leader, systems, can build teams, can manage teams, can look at budgets, can look at org charts, those kind of things. They typically don't exist on the same pair of legs. Mm-hmm. And so what we're doing, and we're finding ourselves doing a lot of, is stepping in with churches in different seasons of growth, really of their department, their worship department, but also their worship leader, to say, hey, okay, you're incredible at what you do on the weekend and Sunday mornings, but let's help you be incredible Monday through Saturday with organizing schedules for 25 worship team members. Here's what you need for leadership pipelines and development tracks to get more people as your church is growing. And so more than just coaching and consulting, it's like Tara said, we're sitting in with people and we listen to them, because each house is different, each leader is different, to say, here what we believe are some solutions that you need to see this thing go where you see it going, but you might just be hung up a little bit. I had a lead pastor one time tell me, he said, I don't speak worship leader. Can you please jump in here and help me make this thing happen? And I was like, we were like, yes, of course. It's what we do. So stepping into those moments with churches, those moments of growth is honestly, it's where we shine. And there's not, we wrote it on the website, but there's a plethora of offerings in the church. But there are few that offer the depth and focus of what we do. You can get on YouTube, you can do the things that are going to help you in your theology, help you in your craft, help you be a whatever. But like Tara said, we want to get in it with you. I mean, we want to be in the weeds. We have worked with churches on rewriting job descriptions, redoing different 3-4 phases of their org charts, looking at their budgets, et cetera, et cetera. All the while, yes, reviewing your weekend and, hey, here's some things you could work on in your vocals, and here's some things you could work on with your musical director. We joke that, like Farmers Insurance, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. We've been doing it a long time. And we just really believe that the expertise that we've been, had the honor of gaining over these years, it was for the House of Seacoast for so many years. And now we want to see and look at opportunities to where we can continue to be leadership in Seacoast, but also help these other churches in the seasons of growth that they're in as well.
What you just said is amazing. I was going to say something about that. You guys, and I've got Brandon up. You know, it's the solutions for worship, and Brandon says what he says. Uh, and I think, Terry, you helped to create a culture of this, but you guys are local church people. It's not like you're not a part of Seacoast anymore. You guys still lead worship and still are a part of it. In fact, Tara, when you sat down with me and said, hey, Chief, I need to talk to you. I love you. I love this church, but I think my time as the woman, the person, is coming to an end. And we both cried.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that meant. It was like, does that mean you're going away? No, I'm not going away. I'm not going away. It's my church. I want to lead worship, but there are some other things that I want to do. And she's an entrepreneur. I'm telling you, she's good. This is only one of the entrepreneurial things that she's a part of. But both of you are local church people, and that's why I can commend these two to you as a pastor, unabashedly, without any restraint or concern. These are local church people. They understand local church, but they also understand the capital church, the big church. And by the way, you guys have raving fans. I at the retreat there, and I oversee the retreat at Church Creek. For some of you may not know, and pastors come and hang with me, and they say, we decided to try the worship department to help us come alongside various, and like you said, some very large churches and some very small churches. And you have raving fans. They said, where'd you get these guys? And I said, well, we're just lucky like that. We're just lucky like that. But so I commend you very, very highly. Looking at the website just a minute, and we're coming down to the end of our time together. But at the top, it goes through, it's theworshipdepartment.com, but you've got an Easter Essentials Kit and a women's worship gatherings. Let me start with the second one. What's that about, Tara? Tell me what it's about, and I've got some thoughts along those lines.
Sure. So we are basically gathering women worshipers. So any woman who is involved in worship ministry, we're specifically looking for that lead worship leader, but it is open to any woman that is involved in worship ministry, any worship leader. And we just want more than anything to convey to these sweet women that they are not alone. I spent a lot of years in leadership at Seacoast as the woman worship leader in charge, and I looked around at churches in America and just didn't see a lot of other women leading worship. Now that it's becoming more common, but I remember at one point, PG walking into your office and saying, who do you know in America that also has a lead worship leader that is a female? And let me talk to them. Because at the time, the only ones that I could think of were like Darlene Zschech and Rita Springer. Yeah. And there were just a very, very, very few. And thankfully now that the tide is turning on that. But we just want to create a space where we are gathering women worshipers together. We're going to do this for 6 months, once a month for 6 months, and just connect on Zoom. And yes, we are going to be, building community and having conversation, but we're also going to be very intentional about some of the topics that we're going to teach and lead on. And I'm also really excited because we're getting to partner with my good friend Lee Bennett, who has headed up the organization Women in Worship for a lot of years. And so Lee and I are teaming up to do this, and just super excited. That starts in January.
Very cool. Yeah, and when you say women worship leaders, your chair was a worship leader, the lead worship leader, and the head of the department. And that's why I called you a unicorn, because you can do all of those things well. But there weren't a lot of people like you out there, and so you're kind of helping that, and so I love that. So, what is the Easter Essentials kit? Talk to me about that.
Yeah,
Ooh, I got it to
So
go there. Easter is
there you
in
go. Look at that.
123 days from today. How about that?
I know
Not we're
at
not
the
counting.
we're like, what are we, 8 days away from Christmas
Yeah,
filming this. But
yeah.
right on the heels of it is, the next big weekend. So we wanted that ticker there to create a little urgency. But Easter Essentials Kit, here's the idea. Um, there's a lot of things going on with the planning of these big weekends, not to mention just the life of the church, especially walking into the first of the year. And so we wanted to do the best we could to kind of take all the thought of okay, what are we going to do? We just got done with Christmas. What are we going to do to make Easter special? So what we've done is we put together an Easter Essentials Kit. What is in that kit is going to be, once you sign up and you get and jump in with us, there's going to be access to a folder on a Google Drive that's going to have, I think, 4 or 5 different service flow examples of you could put an opener here, you could put a special song here. We could recommend 2 or 3 songs here as far as worship goes. If you have a pastor that speaks 30 minutes or 45 to 50 minutes, where you could,
Who has
if
one
you're,
of those? Yeah.
I don't know. I
like I
don't
said,
know.
like I
I don't
said.
know.
So we just made some service flow examples to take that idea out. They're all, planning center examples. An asset timeline. And what that means is, okay, if Easter is here or an event is here, here's what we would recommend, and we've seen success with if you back it up this many weeks at each spot along the way. Here's what we would recommend you have happening so that you can be well planned, like Tara mentioned earlier, being well planned and well thought of leading up to that big event, no last minute stuff happening. We made a big kind of master list of songs that we would recommend that we've seen success with at our church, at a bunch of other churches, that just do well. They lead well. Easy to worship with. They speak to the theme of Easter. And with those, we've also linked access. You can get over to multi-tracks. If you click on that link, it'll be the kind of save you the time just to get over there to download those tracks. And then just a few special songs, if you will, that go well on Easter as well. Now, here's the kicker. So there's the folder. There you go. You got a bunch of access to these resources. The kicker is going to be with that, we're having 2 sessions. So we're going to have like a January to February session, 4 weeks, and then a February to March session, 4 weeks, for those of you who really like to push the timeline. And what we're going to do in those 4 weeks, you're going to have access to a live group coaching session, hour and a half once a week for 4 weeks leading up to Easter, in that session that you choose. And it's basically, once you have your resource folder, what we're going to do in those things is going to be very Q&A. We just want to help you dial in Easter. So it's Q&A, ask any and every question you want. We're going to have a group of people in there. And so maybe if you're one of the ones that don't like to ask questions in a big group, somebody's probably going to ask a question that you have. And that's the cool thing about the big group. We're all together. Also, to get the idea of like, man, we're all in this together. We're all really trying to plan the same thing. How do we do it well? And Tara and I just want to take a lot of the guesswork out of it for you. $4.99 to sign up for one of the 4-week sessions. And we're just trying to do the best we can to just load it with value. You have direct access to us over that time. And we just want to do everything we can to make Easter a huge win for you and allow you to focus on the 1,000 other things that are happening with worship and the 1,000 other things that are happening with leading the church in those months as well.
Amazing. I'm looking at the little price tag thing. It says a $1,500 value. You got to be kidding me. That's a whole lot more than $1,500. You get Nate and Tara for either 4 weeks or 8 weeks, depending on, which session that you do. So if you're a pastor, I'm figuring this, amazing value, $500. It's like $125 a week to get ready for Easter. Or if you figure it out over 8 weeks, it's like $65 or something like that. What an amazing, amazing thing. Do I sound like a salesman? I'm excited for you guys, and I am excited for my pastor friends. Where were you guys when I started a church? Where were you guys when I was pastoring a small rural church in northern Illinois. You know, this is amazing. This is great. So how do we? There's a limited number, isn't there? I mean, you're gonna. Is it like first come first serve? Get in line. What is it?
I mean, it always is.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, there's links on the website. You can
Yeah.
click through to register. But we obviously, because Easter is coming at us, you know,
There it is.
it will show up.
Click
I
here.
would
Click right here
click right
to
there.
reserve your spot.
That's right.
Right. Get on it. Get on it.
Get on it.
And there's the team. And this is awesome. This is great. Well, listen, y'all, I am excited, honored to be able to talk to you and to what I love doing is introducing my friends to others of my friends, especially when it's a value add on both sides. And this is a value add. And so if you're a pastor, worship leader, take advantage of what Tara and Nate are offering. And I think you'll enjoy it. I think it will be beneficial to you. And thank you guys for being a part of the conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think that's all I know. All right. So
Okay.
listen, Merry Christmas, Happy Easter, whenever you see this, whatever it
Right.
is. We
Have a
love
great
you,
weekend.
and we want God's kingdom to come and His will to be done wherever you are. And so
Yes.
thanks for being a part of this.
That's right.